the Auburn Blitz Podcast, your direct source for all Auburn all the time with Brett Pritchard, Faith Richardson, and Randy Lee.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Auburn Blitz Podcast here on a Friday morning. We are so glad that you join us each and every day here on the Auburn Blitz, whenever and wherever it is that you join us, and making Auburn Blitz part of your daily Auburn athletic intake. The Auburn Blitz Podcast is brought to you each and every day by the Glenda Mitchell Law Firm. And saw Glenda yesterday. Good to see her and our whole staff. Good to see John, too. Shout out to John. Don't want to leave you out, John. But glad to have Glenda Mitchell, attorney at law firm, part of our program and our partner for everything Auburn Blitz. Good morning, Faith. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. It was good to see Glenda and John yesterday. Had a great time over there. Got to drop off some Auburn Blitz stuff for them to go and wear and rep. But yeah, doing well. It's a nasty Friday.
It is. The sun's coming out here, though. I mean, it's warm, which is great. I mean,
lucky you.
Yeah, I'm not complaining. It stormed last night, but anyway, it's going to be nice temperatures today, so I'm not complaining, because we're going to flip that script at the beginning of the next week. So let's hold on to what we got here. Depth chart on defense doesn't look much different going in. And we're looking at this depth chart. We're going to talk about it. There's a couple of key spots that I really like. And so I'm excited about that side of the football, really, because you have a lot of consistency back. And that was the side of the football that really did what it was supposed to do last year for the majority of the year. Faith, so excited about that. Has Auburn zeroed in on their future QB? Have they gone all in on Abrams? And we'll talk about that. The schedule is rough again. Who's surprised? I know we're not. And we'll have some rankings on that and where that breaks down for Auburn comparable to everybody else nationally. But again, we have taught basketball to death since Auburn dropped that game on the road and didn't look good doing it. They have a game tomorrow night. We'll definitely be there. It's a big game. Try to flush whatever that was at Mississippi State and move forward. Baseball in action today. Also, softball, really big win and a really bad loss yesterday. And, hey, since we talked about the women's basketball team yesterday and not how and how they have not been playing well, they got a win yesterday. They beat Missouri. So maybe we need to talk about them every day. Maybe that'll help them. So maybe we were their good luck charm. But anyway, we'll start with the depth chart, Faith, and it is time to look at the depth chart because we are knocking on the door of spring football practice, and I know we're all excited about that. Look, we don't want to overblow this, but this is an exciting spring for all of us. I think everybody involved, from the media all the way to the coaches to the players, there's going to be so much being unveiled, and we're excited for what's to come.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so many different parts of all of this that we've just been waiting to kind of see the finalized depth chart, but also just spring can't come fast enough so that you can really get your eyes on everybody and do an evaluation that way, kind of. But yeah, I mean, looking at the defense side and how so many of these young guys that had some playing time last year, not a substantial amount, but
Right.
Enough.
But right here.
Yeah, having them come back is such a huge win for Auburn, and DJ Durkin was such a huge part of that. And I'm just really excited to continue to see some of these guys grow and actually be able to fulfill their role now as a either starter or as a sophomore.
Yeah, and just be back as a piece on this defense. And if you remember, when the portal opened up, there were a lot of guys that got in and some key players, and everybody was like, oh, well, I thought DJ Durkin coming back and Vontrell King Williams coming back and all this. Why are all these defensive players getting in the portal? But that's just because that's the way it is now. But when you look at it, and we color code our depth chart, there's a lot of the blue on here, which means returner for us. And I mean, that's what you want to see. Now, we'll get to the offense next week, but when you look at the offense, it's the dead opposite. And you and I have been talking about this for a couple of weeks. There's only one significant player on offense that had any playing time on this team last year, and it's Jeremiah Cobb. So there is a ton to discuss on the offensive side as we move into that next week. But on the defensive side, these are names we've been looking at and talking about for a long time now. Jared Smith, Dallas Walker, Xavier Atkins, obviously the staple, the best linebacker in the country based on his numbers. Rayshawn Pleasant, Caleb Harris, Champ Anthony, blah, blah, blah. And then I'll let you go through some of the two deep here in just a second. But my point is, all of those guys that I just ripped off, and I didn't name everybody, those guys are projected to start. Now, you got to go through spring, and especially with the secondary, and you know how high you and I are on the safety position of this team, and I think could be a really, really big strength. But I think, once again, looking down this list, this defense could once again be a really, really big strength for this team. And I know I feel like I'm already going back and repeating myself, but it's setting up to be. And then there's another guy that could possibly be added if things get cleared with an eligibility thing in Chris Murray. And you and I both loved Chris Murray last year. In fact, I didn't think we saw enough of him. But if you add him back possibly, man, this thing really does look solid going into spring football.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, like you said, going through spring practice is really going to still give everybody that competition of, hey, how are we going to be able to, find their identity in their position and where they go on the depth chart. And I think that's something that obviously is really important. And even from week to week, how sometimes you see a little bit of a difference there. But again, this defense is something that we're so excited to watch and excited to see how the young guys physically have developed from one year to another,
Right.
but also the IQ level from some of them already was there, but it was a matter of really getting their head wrapped around kind of the speed and the level of competition that you're going to see at this level. And that again comes with time. And so that's why I'm really, really looking forward to seeing these guys and how well they're going to be able to transform.
I want to dive into something. And again, this is a tentative depth chart for us going into spring. We don't know where it all will shape out, but based on where they were last year and their playing time and the portal entries, I want to go all the way down to 3 deep. And I'm not saying these guys are going to be third stringers. I don't think they will be at all. If anything, they probably could start. And if at least going to be in the rotation, a heavy rotation, I want to start on the defensive line. You list Malik Autry at that defensive tackle position at third because you bring in Cody Sigler. I mean, we talked about what he was able to do and what he brings as far as that dirty edge kind of player that he has been. Then you add Walter Mathis from LSU. And look, you basically just did a trade for not Malik Autry. Good Lord. Malik Blockton. Yes. Sorry. Senior moment over here. Malik Blockton. And then you get to Malik Autry, who I think everybody is ecstatic about. He has the athleticism, the size, everything that you want in a defensive tackle. So you just have to list him there. I'm not saying he's going to be the third string defensive tackle, but that's a good situation. When you look down and you see Cody Sigler, Walter Mathis, and Malik Autry all battling for that position, that's what you want on defense. You want depth.
Let's not forget last year too. DJ Durkin was talking about how the subbing part of it is you don't feel like you're losing any quality when you're going from your first string guys to your second. And that is so important when you get that high, fresh energy right off the bench. You're not losing the quality of player that you're taking out. You're just getting some fresh energy and fresh legs in there to go in there and make something happen.
Jan said, just please get off the field on third and medium and long. Hey, I can't second that anymore. That was probably the knock on the defense last year.
But how could you blame them with how much they were on the field and how big of a difference they were out there? Because without the defense, everybody knows Auburn would not have been in the games as close as they were.
No.
And at some point, you get tired.
Well, how about that? Are we talking about that every single day in another sport?
Yeah.
So yeah, that when you look down at the defense, yeah, there were factors that affected that part of the game, but for the most part, that was one element that you wanted to see get improved, and hopefully, with especially on the offensive side, but on the defensive side, adding this depth is going to help correct that problem. But just looking at this defensive line. If you want to add the defensive end position in there, I mean, I'm thoroughly excited about Jared Smith and what he's going to bring back. I thought that was a huge keep for Auburn. I'll be honest, I was worried about that. And when the portal opened, whether Jared Smith, because Jared Smith coming out of high school was so highly touted coming from Thompson. And we saw flashes last year, Faith, of how good Jared Smith can be. And now another year under his belt, I expect him maybe, and we got plenty of time for this, obviously, but our breakout player of the year, when we talk about that, who we think could be a breakout player, I'm going ahead and giving a preface to this. I'm starring Jared Smith on the defensive side.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got, again, getting 1 year under your belt to kind of realize how things roll at the college level. And then now him coming back, he was a huge get back. And I think everybody was really excited to have him back. And again, he just knows how this program is run. Obviously with, DJ Durkin coming back, it's huge for him as well. But he was a huge get back, and he's going to have, if all things go the way they should, and, his health remains well, he could definitely be one of those breakout players.
Well, let's just name a few of these players and where they were ranked as far as their stars. Jared Smith, 5-star. Okay. Deshaun Womack coming in the portal, 4-star. Xavier Atkins, 4-star. Elijah Melendez, high 4-star. Caleb Harris, 4-star. 2 deep. Jordan Crawford, Faith, 4-star. J.J. Falk, 4-star. DeMarcus Riddick, 5-star, almost 5-star plus. Eric Winters, high 4-star. Anquan Fagans, 4 or 5-star, depending on which recruiting service you looked at. Blake Woodby, 4-star. I mean, you're not lacking in potential. If you're looking down this list and going, if you just put no names on paper and you just listed by position the star rankings and didn't put a name at the top of the list of what team this was, there would be people going, well, that's a top 10 team.
Again, that's why DJ Durkin said that you're not substituting quality. You're getting guys that just have fresh legs and fresh energy. And that's going to remain the same on this upcoming roster because you got back a lot of those guys.
And add Malik Autry and Joe Phillips, who Joe Phillips hasn't really seen the field at all. Joe Phillips, high 4-star, and Malik Autry was a 5-star. I mean, this defense, and I didn't go through everybody, but this defense is loaded with talent. And you did lose Malik Blockton. You did lose Keldrick Fault to eligibility. He's gone out of eligibility. I mean, you lost some key guys. You lost Kayan Lee and Jay Crawford. Yeah, you lost some really good players, but you have a lot of really good players that were young last year that now it's their time. And they still have pretty much the base of their coaching staff in place on and they've got their position coaches have changed. But for the most part, the leader of that defense and DJ Durkin's still there. And for this defensive line, Coach Williams is still there. And you can say whatever you want to say, but if you're starting a defense, where do you want to start your defense? You want to start at that middle linebacker position. They are the key. They are the quarterback on defense. And Auburn literally may have the best one in the country. I mean, nobody expected Xavier Atkins to do what he did last year.
Yeah.
But now do you expect him to go backwards from what he did? No, you don't. I mean, LSU was frothing at the mouth to try to get him to come back. And he's like, and I thought that was huge. Right out of the gate, Xavier Atkins went, he's like, I'm coming back to this team.
Him trusting the plan and trusting, in Auburn, which has been hard sometimes. But yeah, him coming back, and again, he was such a statement piece last year that he's got so much potential that's just been untapped. And obviously DJ Durkin coming back and how he works with the linebackers a lot. And that is going to be where he is just going. I think he's going to excel so much this year.
I do too. And again, when you look at some of these guys that we have to list, because you can't list everybody as a starter. Although we did at one game. Which game was that we listed? Was it the Baylor game? The depth chart came out and we said, oh, we've got 20-something starters because everybody was in black, bold. Remember the depth chart, it was so-and-so or so-and-so.
Oh, yeah.
And when we all got it.
It was Baylor.
We all got it and we went.
Yeah.
Hey, we got a pretty good chance today. We're going to play 22.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, not listing everybody as a starter, when you look at it from that standpoint, you got some really quality depth. Now, a lot of guys haven't had a lot of playing time. So you're gonna build that in the spring. But hey, there's a whole handful of guys that have a chance to be a breakout player for Auburn this year on the defensive side, and that's exciting. I know I just kind of briefly said Jared Smith, and we'll do this later, but Jordan Crawford could easily have a massive year. DeMarcus Riddick is like everybody's been sitting there waiting on him, and he's battled some injuries.
And I think he's foaming at the mouth because he's been held back due to injury, that he is ready to get in there and make a difference happen and get into spring and practice and show, hey, I was hurt, and that's why I haven't been able to contribute as much as I'd like to. And I think he's sitting there just foaming at the mouth to go.
I couldn't agree more. And
he looked really, really good at the basketball game a couple of weeks ago when he was walking on the court side. And he obviously looks like he loves Auburn too, and the way he was interacting with everybody. But he looked good and healthy. Finally didn't see him in a sling.
Yeah,
which was nice.
2 torn labrums at the linebacker position's pretty rough. It's 2 torn labrums not playing football is pretty rough, but then you have to try to stay in shape and do the things that you need to do. So yeah, I'm excited. I know you are too about what this defense looks like. And the thing that I'm the most excited about of all of it is you look down and there's a lot of returning guys from Auburn. This is not a complete and total transformation, and you got 22 new guys from the portal that you're having to lean on, you're probably going to be leaning on more like 5 or 6 on the defensive side from the portal that you legitimately feel like, okay, are going to be key pieces that are going to contribute. So, all right, War Down to you, Justin. Wayne, good morning. War Eagle to you.
Happy birthday, JD.
Absolutely. Happy birthday, JD. Yes, we appreciate you too. And no, yeah, Justin, Arkansas does play a 7-man rotation too. They've narrowed that down a little bit though. And is it possible for a 7-man rotation to look different than somebody else's 7-man rotation? Our 7-man rotation is like, hey, can we steal some minutes? And I know we're kind of flipping and flopping, and we'll talk about basketball before we get off. And by the way, we'll be on
And
location.
we'll be on at lunch today, so we can definitely talk more basketball at lunch.
Great minds channeled that. So yeah, we'll talk more basketball as we'll be on location. We'll tell you about that a little bit later too. But yeah, it's different. I don't know how else to say it, but it's different. But let's talk about some of our outstanding partners, because we couldn't do our podcast every day without them, nor would we want to do it without our great partners. We start with Sensagreen.
Sensagreen for air that's cool and clean. This week, it's going to be warm and clean. Call on Sensagreen. They are the carrier experts in the state of Alabama. Proud supporters of Auburn Athletics and a proud supporter of Auburn Blitz. It was just so beautiful outside. We were talking about a little taste of spring. And now this week, it is going to be back in the 30s, which is disgusting. And I'm so not excited about it. But with a carrier unit, you're going to be able to go back and forth between the AC and the heat because it's a reliable unit. And who else better to save money than going with Sensagreen, because they're going to be the ones that are the most trustworthy and they're going to be the ones to save you the most money.
That stupid groundhog. You can't rely on him for anything. All right, Scout Program Management, a full construction management firm located in Birmingham, Alabama. I'm telling you, we deal with so many nice people, but when you deal with Scout, they're even on a different level. Sloan, Jay, Charles, those guys. And when they come to you and they sit down and they discuss their plan for your project, you'll understand why they're the best in the business and why you have to hire them to make sure your project goes the way it needs to go. So check them out online, scoutpm.com. That is why you hire a program management company, because they're going to do it the right way.
Bunkers in downtown Auburn last night was their line dancing. It looked like they had such a great time there. They've got 2 stages. So if you aren't going to be a part of the line dancing side of it all and you want to just go and eat, you can be on the other side and listen to some other kind of live music.
We got to go check that out one night.
I know. They've got the best mix of sports, food, music, and fun in downtown Auburn, 50 parking spaces. Head over to Bunkers if you're not going to be able to make the game on Saturday to watch. They've got line leap. So if you're going to go at night and there's going to be a cover, you can go ahead and take care of that earlier in the day.
Yes. I mean, who doesn't want to skip a line? I mean, I hate standing in line. All right, the Cart Source, Alabama's premier golf cart superstore. Boy, did they have a day yesterday. I mean, my gosh, do they have any?
Yeah, they had such a great day.
Did Harrison sell everything he had? Because every time I check social media, he had another picture of another one sold. Like all of those that we saw a couple of days ago down there, Faith, that we were like, man, those are awesome. They're gone. But guess what Harrison's going to do? He's going to get more. He's going to get different brands, and he's going to go order what you want. If you need a golf cart, Easy Go Cushman Yamaha Club Car, everything. Hey, and look, one thing I learned is that first of all, they're the number 1 Easy Go dealer in the state of Alabama, which I'm not surprised, but every one of those brands, depending on where you live, if you live in the country or you live in a hilly area versus a flat area, he's going to recommend a particular brand for where you are. I didn't realize that, because golf carts and their engines are built differently, and whether it's a battery powered or a gas powered one will depend on what you need based on where you live. So, hey, I learned something every day.
That's right.
Check out the Cart Source in Dayville, Alabama's premier golf cart superstore. Has Auburn zeroed in on their quarterback for the future? But before we get to that, I sent you something yesterday, and we were looking at this. Byron Brown, I did not know this. And then, again, not trying to get overly excited, but Auburn finally has a guy that's proven that will be taking snaps this year for the first time. Not saying that Peyton Thorne didn't have one good year at Michigan State. Not saying that, Jackson Arnold wasn't a highly touted quarterback coming out of high school. Byron Brown has proved over multiple years that he can put up the numbers to be an elite quarterback. And I did not know this, Faith, this stat. I mean, I was blown away.
Yeah, last season he had an 85.7 passing grade and an 86.2 rushing grade. He's the only quarterback with 85 plus grades in both categories.
I mean, truly a dual threat quarterback.
And JJ brings up a great point. The same center and the same coach coming in to Auburn as well. And we've talked about the consistency and how big of a difference that makes. And he's got some of the same receivers and running backs too back there with him. I mean, it's unbelievable what he's been able to do at the college level, which again, you're not looking back at high school and saying, oh, but he did this and he's got the potential there. You've seen his performance. You've seen him make things happen year after year.
Let's be honest. Two sides of the ball, offense and defense, after 5 years now of just as results. Which side of the ball would you want to flush, and which side would you want to keep close to the same? Because again, when you look at it from this standpoint, and I'm going somewhere with this, and when you just look at it on the surface, which one would you go, okay, I want to keep that as much the same as I can, and I want to start completely over on this side, which it's pretty obvious. You know where I'm going.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, we just talked about the defense and how many guys came back and how excited we are to see them improve from last year, what they already were able to do. And then last year on offense, you thought that your eyes were going to start bleeding every single time they walked out on the field. You knew that they were going to be in a first and long situation because of penalties happening, and they weren't connecting. And again, if you don't have that master manipulator of your quarterback, things cannot happen out on the field.
No, they can't. And so where I'm going with that is that inside your team in 1 year, you can say, hey, I'm glad we didn't have a lot of change. And on the flip side, you can say, I'm glad we flushed all of that. And I'm glad we got total change. And that's really what you have. Like when you look at this depth chart, and we'll talk about the offense next week, you have almost total change on offense, and you have a little bit of change on the defensive side. And if you had to pick, and look, the reason I brought that up is because when you look at the pictures yesterday that Auburn football put out, and you saw the guys working and doing things in the indoor facility, and the smiles and just the energy, like that's one thing that you and I talked about was where was the energy on offense? Like we got all these star players walking around, and there was zero energy at all on that side of the ball. And I know everybody that's watched and listened to us for months now, this isn't new information. We would report this after we left practice. But seriously, like now that I look at this from a 30,000-foot view, awesome that you got almost complete change on offense because that crap wasn't working. So now we get to see something totally new. Hey, and the side of the ball that you were happy with, most of that stayed. And you get to build off that. And like your main 2 or 3 players that you really wanted to stay on this team stayed. And your defensive coordinator, who happens to be one of the best in the country, stayed. So it is possible, even within one team, to have massive change and be happy with it and have consistent stability and be happy with it too. And that's Auburn. That's the most Auburn thing in the world.
That's right.
I don't know how to, but I mean, I saw those pictures yesterday and it was like, man, they haven't even really gotten to spring yet. And I could feel the energy through the pictures.
Right. There's no question about that, and Justin, I mean, he just made a really good point. It starts from the head coach. Other one was too busy, in the other winter workouts, and I think that's so true. I think there was
Or
other
sharing stuff on
priorities.
social media.
There were other priorities that were taking precedent over the winter workouts, and again, the group of guys that Alex Golish is bringing in are guys that are hungry and want to work, and that again says so much about not only Alex Golish, but the guys how how much they want to get started in working out.
What did we live through? I mean,
I don't know, but like I lost my train of thought there
I
because I cannot
I
with you and the little
started it.
peanut
I'm sorry.
gallery over here that
I
is just
started
la
it.
la la.
I started it. It's my fault. I mean, I'm just saying that some of the crap that we tried to make in our minds say, "Oh, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay." Like, no, it's not going to be okay because your coach needs to be actually working and coaching and not teeing off every day and trying to formulate that's, oh, well, everybody else is doing what they're supposed to do. He's just the thing that I always go back to, Faith, last year is when one of the starting players on offense came up and said, well, this week's been the best because he's been out sick. And it was and this was 2 years ago. This wasn't last year. And literally was probably the best game they played the whole season. So, I mean, there were signs everywhere. Everybody was just trying to hope that it was, but let's move forward. All right. On the recruiting front, Auburn, how this is going to settle out and play out, and this is going to be something we talk about from now till December. But you got Gunnar Rivers in state, who happens to be one of the top quarterbacks in the country in the 27 class. Not saying Auburn doesn't continue to pursue him, and he's definitely warranted. You talked to him, you interviewed him a few months ago. Big kid, great mentor in his dad and coach and Phillip. But Auburn seems to, and this staff seems to have zeroed in on Izzy Abrams. And the reason, and we've already talked about Izzy, but he has locked in an official visit now. And he's the number 2 quarterback in the 27 class. I think Gunnar Rivers is the number 5 quarterback in the 27 class. But regardless, he's locked in a June 5th through the 7th official visit. And this just seems to be, Faith, all of the talk that this is the guy that Auburn is going all in on. Now, that doesn't mean they get him, but it feels like this is the target quarterback in the 27 class for Auburn in this staff.
Yeah, he's ranked as the number 22 player overall and the number 2 quarterback and number 1 player from Illinois. He's 6'4", 187. So he's pretty big kid. He was at Tiger Day and, he was just saying that he had a good day. It was nice to meet the coaches, spending time with coaches. Coach Gordon and Coach Kingston were the 2 guys that he was surrounded with kind of the whole time. And he was saying that they were welcoming, cool people. And he can tell that they want him there. And it's not like he's being sold something that isn't real. And again, we've talked about relationships and how important those are. And he said they've been caring for me. It's been nothing but welcoming today.
Yeah, all positive. And not that you're going to interview a kid and he's going to go in there and say, well, man, that was crap. That ain't what I thought it was going to be. And then he's going to turn around and schedule an OV. I mean, obviously he's going to be excited about it. But, hey, look, going out and just shows you the landscape of college football now that you're looking at a kid that's your main target and he's out of state and he's from Illinois, which, I mean, go back and look over time how many big players Auburn's ever landed out of Illinois. I don't know of any. I mean, seriously, I'm sure we've gotten some, but not off the top of the head. Auburn runs into Illinois and grabs the top player in the state. But there's obviously some type of draw, and some kids fall in love with schools and coaching staffs. And Auburn's going to have to battle some other schools. But when I look at the teams that are in the mix with him, Faith, I'm not scared, really. I mean, not to say that somebody can't throw a massive NIL deal and change his whole mentality. But if I were looking at this list, I mean, I feel like Auburn's got just as good a chance as any of these other schools that he's interested in.
Purdue, Tennessee, Kentucky, Florida State. I'm with you. I'm not sitting there shaking, worried about it. But again, NIL can really take somebody from one end all the way to the other because you're getting thrown a ton of money. And
that's the X factor that nobody can look. You can analyze all this stuff and look at relationships and connections and all this kind of stuff. And then the one thing that can come out of left field in the 12th hour is somebody with an absurd NIL proposition. And it just, hey, the kid and the family go, I can't turn that down. Like, I know I really wasn't looking at this school, but I can't turn this down. So we'll see. But good to see that he's got an OV scheduled. Maybe if our schedule sets up right, we can be there for that and maybe get an interview directly with Izzy on that OV. And that's something that we may look at trying to do a little bit more if we can. We're doing a lot of different things than other people, like going and seeing these prospects in state during the summer, which is going to take up a lot of time like it did last year. But we know that all of you really enjoyed that, and we enjoyed it too. I mean, I've always loved recruiting, but then that was, again, I get to be the camera guy for you. I get to be on the front row, and I get to listen to you ask them questions about how they got to that point and who's been the motivator for them in their life and the mentor and the, and then why did they choose that particular school, or why did they choose those particular schools to be narrowed down to? I'm already excited about our road trips again this summer and talking to these kids and their coaches. I mean, we didn't just go talk to them. We talked to their coaches, and, we learned a lot too. Like, their coaches would say, hey, this team's really putting the full court press on. So we were able to bring that information back to all of you. And a lot of that played out. Everybody's like, well, how did you know that? I'm like, well, their football coach told us that out of his own mouth.
Because we're working, doing it. Bama Willie.
Yep. Putting that work in. He's never gonna let you live that down, is he? He's always gonna say, put the work in. But we are, and we're excited about being able to go, again, a whole new crop of top recruits. And we've kind of gone through. Auburn already has the number one player in the state, and Donovan Moore. So we're obviously starting there. We're going to be going up there and talking to him. But then how many more of that top 10 will Auburn be able to land? So you'll just have to stay tuned and see, and we're going to give it to you. All right, let's talk about some more of our partners here on the program. I can't say enough good things about Oliver Ross. Known Mark forever. And going to be promoting his new store in Auburn too for everybody coming up. So just hang on with us. We're going to be interchanging out the Oliver Ross and his new grain and leaf store in Auburn for all of you out there that are interested. But for Oliver Ross, they have licensed, trained bartenders for your next event. And I've been to many events where Oliver Ross had the bartending service, and it is just the best in the business. Of course, whether it's 20 people in a private party or 20,000 at a large convention, they can handle it. Call them, check them out on Instagram, Facebook. They will take care of you, and they'll make you look good. Don't you want to look good at your event? Call on Oliver Ross.
Russell Medical Center, the best place for you to go if you're in that central Alabama area. They are one of the top 3 best hospitals in the state. And if you aren't wanting to go fight the traffic to go all the way up to Birmingham or go over to Atlanta, Russell Med is a fully functioning hospital that's going to be able to make sure to take care of you. And if there is something where you are going to have to get transferred, they are partnered with UAB. And who else do you want to be partnered with other than UAB? Because they are probably one of the best hospitals in the world. And I mean, Russell Medical Center, I can't say enough good things about it and how great of an experience I had when I was there last week. So head over to Russell Medical Center if you need any sort of medical attention.
Whatever it is, they're going to be able to hook you up on that. Alex City Marine, brand new center consoles, pontoons, man, they got a full lineup of them. And days like today where the temperature is going to be like 74, 75 degrees, just makes you want to be on that lake and makes you want to be down on the coast. And those consistent warm days are coming, and all your buddies and everybody else is going to be zooming around on their boat, and your family's going to be standing there on the bank watching them, and they're going to be mad at you. So how can you fix that? You can do it right now in the month of February. Go check out Alex City Marine. Sales, service, and storage. All their boats powered by Mercury, Suzuki, and Honda, the best in the business. So check them out, Alex City Marine. So thankful for all of our partners, and of course, Glenda Mitchell, our umbrella partner for everything Auburn Blitz. And we appreciate them so very much. It was so good to see Glenda. She is a ball of energy, I'm going to tell you.
She's awesome.
And they have so many events that they're involved in, Faith, in so many communities. That's the thing that was mind-blowing to me just for the 10 minutes that we were there hanging out. They talked about all these events. They're majorly involved in the run in Auburn coming up.
Yeah.
So,
that's going to be something that they're super involved in. And I just don't know how she's so busy and is all over the place between Alabama and Georgia, but also assisting people, helping them when they're in an accident and they need help.
Because she's got an outstanding team. And I didn't know how big her team really was until yesterday, and it is massive. So appreciate Glenda Mitchell and her whole staff. A couple of updates. Auburn has 6 players that will be at the combine this year. And I think there's 300 and something total that were invited to the combine. Auburn has 6, and that's the most they've had in several years. I mean, no shot with any of these guys. But when you look down, Faith, just off this list, who do you think has the longest sustained NFL career? Let's just look into the crystal ball. Out of all of those players, which one of these Auburn players would you put money on to say this guy's going to have the most consistent and longest NFL career?
Well, let's go ahead and list them off. Connor Liu, Dylan Wade, Jeremiah Wright, Kieron Crawford, Keldrick Falk, and Bobby Jamison Travis. I would say Kieron Crawford. That's
where I was going.
Best way I can describe him, and I've said it for a year now, is hungry. And
Senior Bowl had a great Senior Bowl.
Oh my gosh. And honestly, when seeing Derek Hall in that Super Bowl really kind of just gave me almost like a flash of what Kieron Crawford could become.
You channeled everything, like you literally said everything I was going to say. That's the guy that I would put money on. A lot of people would say Connor Liu or Keldrick Falk. Keldrick Falk is built for the NFL.
Yeah.
Size-wise, this is not a knock on Keldrick. Okay, so I don't want anybody to take that. But you can't replicate Kieron Crawford's motor versus Keldrick's. I'm not saying Keldrick Falk doesn't have a high motor. I'm saying Kieron Crawford almost plays with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder.
He's scrappy. That's how to say it. He's scrappy.
Now, the knock on Kieron is maybe a little undersized. Where does he fit? Where can he go? I think his effort will make up the difference there. But now Keldrick, Connor Liu, I think they're right there with him. I think Connor Liu, if he can stay healthy,
keep him healthy,
could be a really good offensive lineman in the NFL.
I even think Jeremiah Wright, you get him
I
with the
agree.
right guys,
Yes,
and
he's
he
got
could
the
really
size.
make a huge difference. He was really versatile the last couple of years at Auburn because of
Right.
some injuries and then, him having to move around. But I could see him getting with the right guys and taking
Yeah.
some time to develop.
No doubt about it. All right. Who's shocked? I mean, Auburn, it's always time to put the schedule together. And when you put the schedule together and you release it, you go, oh, Auburn's got one of the toughest schedules in the country.
Let's look at this though. Out of the top 10, the SEC has 8 guys or 8 teams in there with the toughest schedule. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that there's 9 SEC games now.
No question. And then, it's been up for debate on what you do as far as who you want to schedule as your non-conference opponent. Auburn just recently announced a few months ago their home and home with Notre Dame that'll be coming up that we're excited about. Hey, look, I'm looking forward to going to South Bend. Auburn and
Yeah.
Notre Dame have never played. I mean, that is really kind of unbelievable, to be honest with you. So, yeah, there are certain teams that you're like, oh, from a nostalgia standpoint, love to play. But now when you got those 9 conference games, you do have to look at, well, do you want to go fill your 3 non-conference opponents up with more top 15 and top 20 teams? The answer is probably no. So with the strength of schedule and the SEC being what it is as a gauntlet every single year, half the conference has the top tough of the schedule, 8 of the top 10 toughest schedules in the country. Half of the conference, as you just mentioned, is listed in the top 10. Auburn happens to be number 5. You got Oklahoma at 4, Texas at 3, Arkansas at 2. Ohio State is number 1 in the country. And the other lone school, Faith, is
Michigan.
and they
And then
happen
you
to be
got Ole Miss at 7, Florida at 8, LSU at 9, Kentucky at 10. Also, let's look at the fact that a lot of these SEC schools have brand new coaches this year.
absolutely. And look at this. Who are the 2 teams on this list outside Ohio State and Michigan, the 8 SEC teams, that have pushed their chips all into the middle of the table this year to win? And they both have a top 10 ranked tough schedule. I mean, Texas is number 3,
Mhm.
and LSU with a new coach and new everything have the 9th toughest schedule. And both teams have gone all in this year.
They have, and you've gotta, again, look at these schools and how they've got new coaches and bringing on new people that it's for some of them, the fan bases are tired, and they don't wanna just keep seeing loss after loss, but
How receptive is LSU going to be to Lane Kiffin if he goes 8-4? I'm just saying. I'm just
not at
saying.
all, but Auburn will be jumping up and down and rolling out a red carpet for Alex Golesh if he goes 8-4. It
Different
is so different because of obviously
expectation.
the past,
Yes.
but like you said, the expectations and the way that LSU is got their government involved at this point in the state, which is bizarre.
Are they going to be able to overcome the circus that is what's going on down there?
Not until Lane Kiffin leaves because he is the circus conductor.
Look, I know Auburn has had an abysmal last 5 or 6 years in football. And Lane Kiffin took Ole Miss to new heights. But I'm still going to say, and people can say, well, he's an idiot. And I probably am for a lot of other reasons, not for just this comment I'm about to make. But, I mean, I don't want that guy near my program. Like the slime trail that he leaves everywhere he goes. And while he's there, it's always about a bunch of other junk. And that disaster he left at Ole Miss in the playoffs this year was just, it really is
A
a
nightmare.
summation. Well, it's a summation of who he is. And I mean, look, you got to do what you got to do now in this world and feel like that's where your future is. But we all know the
And
grass is.
I'll eat it because I said that I wanted him to come to Auburn at one point, and
I
I
think
think
I think a lot of people did, Faith. I even said at some point in time, hey, because we were all so just pissed off and tired of being terrible, we were like, hey, let's just jeopardize our morals and ethics. Not that we weren't doing that already with what we had. Okay. But maybe I shouldn't even said that. Maybe I shouldn't have made that comparison because we were actually living in that moment. So let me try to rephrase that. Let's just turn a blind eye to the idiocy in the circus that Lane Kiffin brings to town so we can get our program to winning again. At least he was winning. If you read that, however you want to read it, he was at least, there were multiple circuses going on. We had our own here at Auburn, but at least he was winning at Ole Miss and we weren't. So, but I think that's where that came from. Not to cut you off on what you were saying, but you along with a lot of other people had said they would take Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad it worked out the way it did for Auburn because again, I think we were getting duped, and if Lane Kiffin had even decided to come to Auburn, we would have been duped there too, and it would have been a nightmare. So, let's just watch from afar. LSU comes into Auburn on October 24th. So,
oh my gosh. Hey, and look, I mean,
the next week we go to Ole Miss. So,
oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it's just going to be.
At least we'll be driving.
Yeah, dear. Yeah.
We did say this, everybody, when we were talking about this yesterday. Faith and I were like, we don't have any flights. We lived in an airplane last year, but we'll gladly get on a plane to go to a bowl game.
Immediately.
Please.
I just do not want to go on a flight until then.
Yeah. Well, you won't have a chance to.
I've had enough.
Yep. So, but anyway,
we'll be on at noon.
Yes, we will be on at noon. And just kind of one more thing about this schedule. Again, so much hype with the newness of the coaching staff and the portal players and the guys coming in. But the reality is you still do have one of the hardest schedules in the country. So, again, the urgency and the imminence of what you got to get done in spring is even ramped up even more. So, we're going to talk about that, but we're going to talk about this and a lot more at lunchtime, Faith, and we're going to be back at another one of our favorite places. We got so many favorite places. I had somebody text me yesterday, go, man, y'all, every day y'all are at your favorite place. I'm like, well, when you have 10 favorite places, you can say
they really are our favorites. Like, I can't even exaggerate and say that
we look forward to
they love all of them so much with my whole heart.
I'm right there with you. So it's possible, everybody, to have multiple favorite places. And we're not going to rank them because they're all number one. We just follow Auburn's depth chart. Everybody gets to start. So we don't list anybody on the 2 or 3 deep. So, but we have all starters. All of our partners are starters in our book. So we appreciate them so very much. All right, lunchtime, we will be with you, as we said, at Prime Steakhouse in Stillwater's Golf Course. Looking forward to that. So make sure you tune us in. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please go do that. It helps us so much. And hit the like button. We can't say enough thanks to all of you that do that every single day and find us whenever it is. We know that some of you can't catch us live, but you catch us during the day, maybe on your lunch hour, maybe at night when you are settling down and you watch or listen to your podcast, you find us there. But whenever it is, we appreciate you so very much. And we also greatly appreciate Glenda Mitchell and her law firm for being our presenting partner on everything Auburn Blitz. And go check her out. If you need an attorney to protect you and to fight for you, if somebody in your family has been in a car accident, she's the only option. She's really is. Why would you go anywhere else? She has a unbelievable proven record, and she's going to fight for you. So check her out, Glenda Mitchell. All right, Faith, I'll let you send us out.
We'll see y'all at lunch. Have the best weekend ever.
Absolutely. Go be nice to somebody, do something good, and we'll see you at lunch. live from Prime for more of the Auburn Blitz.